Hello and welcome. Thank you for joining us today. Before we kick off, it would be really great to hear from you in the chat where you're watching this webinar from today. My name is Rebecca and I'm sitting in Munich, and we have Patrizia with us, who I believe is sitting in Berlin.
Almost right. This time I'm actually in the south of France in a co-working in Sophia Antipolis. So
Wow.
if anyone here is also in Sophia Antipolis, come say hi.
Very, very nice. Very nice. Hungary, usually from Zurich. Nice. Cool. Great. It's always nice to see where everyone is joining us from Madrid. Also very nice. Berlin. Very cool. I'll let you trickle those answers into the chat, and then a lot of people from Munich. Very cool.
Yeah.
From Morocco. Excellent. Yeah, let's get started. So I'll just do a short introduction to Malt first, and then, of course, what we're all here for is to hear from Patrizia, who is a Malt strategy consultant from our Malt community, who will be talking about unlocking human-centered skills, staying competitive in the age of AI. We do have time for Q&A at the end as well. However, Patrizia said she's very open if you want to send questions that might be relevant to the topic immediately in the chat. Sorry, I see Frank is joining from the beer garden. Sounds wonderful, Frank. We also have a questions function, the bottom right hand. You can enter your questions here, and everyone else who's also in the webinar right now, maybe have a look in there before you ask a question. It might be a question that's already listed, and maybe it's the same one you had, and you can vote on it. And that would help Patrizia prioritize which questions to answer first. So just to myself, I'm a community builder for Malt. I've been with Malt for about 2 years now, and my responsibilities revolve around creating events and webinars, working together with partners, and connecting with different experts within our community to see how they can bring some of their skills back to the community as well, such as what we're doing today with Patrizia. I'll let you introduce yourself once I hand over to you after, Patrizia.
Yeah.
And just stick to the Malt intro for now. So for those of you who don't know Malt, Malt was founded about 11 years ago in Paris and France by 2 freelancers who wanted to be able to give other freelancers more choice, more independence in who they work with, how they work, how they present themselves, etc. Today, Malt has grown significantly. Globally, we have around 750,000 plus freelancers who have a profile on Malt. That includes both our Malt strategy pool and our Malt marketplace pool. Over 70,000 clients who trust in Malt and the talent that's on Malt to complete their projects. In the DACH region, just saying that because we're speaking from the DACH region right now, we have around 55,000 freelancers. Here are just a handful of the companies who upload their projects to Malt, who search for freelance talent on Malt. Maybe you recognize one or other, but there are some big names here as well. And how do we attract top talent, such as yourselves, to Malt? Well, you have a profile that allows you to showcase your online reputation. You can upload things to your portfolio, obviously input your experience, daily rates, recommendations, reviews from others, as well as different ratings from customers as well. You can streamline your client management on the app and on the website as well. There's fast payment that happens. So here it's actually changed to about 10 business days, which is still significantly faster than maybe some of the payments that happen with other clients. You have a dedicated freelance team. So there's myself, as well as I have 4 other colleagues who are working really solely on making sure you have a great experience on Malt, a great experience with the community, and bringing resources to you as well. We also have a partnerships page where you'll find different offers related to partners that help make your freelancing life easier, such as banking, insurance, and different software licenses as well. How am I found as a freelancer on Malt if I create a profile? There's many ways clients can come approach you. The first is self-service. So clients would just go onto the Malt website and in the search bar, type in a specific type of freelancer or consultant that they're looking for, such as front-end developer. And just as a background here, this applies to Malt Marketplace. For Malt Strategy, the profiles are hidden. And that's where number 2 comes into play. For our consultant pool, we have a sourcing team that works together with clients to help match them in the background with different profiles. That does also happen for our marketplace as well, though. Perfect. And then that's it for myself. If you have any questions to Malt, of course, you're also welcome to post them into the chat. I'll be here the whole time. And otherwise, I would hand right over to you, Patrizia. I'm just going to put you front and center here and turn my video off and enjoy.
Great. Thank you so much, Rebecca, for the introduction. So yeah, thanks everyone for joining the webinar. I'm Patrizia Ecker. I'm a management consultant and a PhD in psychology and computer science. So yeah, thank you so much for joining me today to learn more about unlocking human-centered skills and staying competitive in the age of AI. So as you know, in an era where AI is revolutionizing industries, these human-centered skills have never been more important. So today we'll explore why these skills are essential and how they can help you stay competitive and relevant. And I hope that by the end of this webinar, you'll have a better understanding of what human-centered skills are and why they matter, how these skills complement AI technology, and how we can use AI technology to help us improve these skills, and also for you to gain some practical strategies to develop and integrate these skills into your daily routine and into your daily life, basically. So yeah, Rebecca, it would be great if we could take the quick poll just so I can see, because yeah, I cannot see you guys, or we didn't take a poll before, so it would be great to see now where you stand with your coaching or therapy experience, and if that has helped you improve your soft skills. So Rebecca will pull up the poll, which you can answer right here on the screen, and basically we would have A, and I think you can see it in polls on the bottom right, or at least that's how I see it. I don't know how it pops up on your screen. So A is, yes, I have done coaching and therapy before, which has helped me tremendously building these skills. B would be, I've done self-guided trainings. C, I don't have in-depth knowledge, but I've read some literature about the topic, like, I don't know, articles, books, and so on. And D, I've never really bothered to hone these skills specifically. So yeah, it would be great to get your take on this.
So if you just click on the bottom right corner under polls, you should be able to see it. And Patrizia, you're able to see the results, right? So if you click on the little eye there, you should be able to.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, there you go.
Okay, great. So people are still putting in their votes, but I can see, wow, okay, that's great. So most of you said that they have done some coaching or therapy, which has helped you tremendously building these skills. So that's really good, because, this way I also know how deep I can go with certain topics, and how we can discuss things later, and check your questions throughout this webinar. Okay, perfect. So we have 37% who already have done coaching or therapy. So very nice, guys. Okay, perfect. So if you have any questions, like Rebecca said, you have the questions icon where you can just type something and ask it, or you can write it in the chat, and I will always also monitor, and either answer right away, or if it's like a bigger question and answer, we'll just take it at the very end. But feel free to ask or comment. So it should be, even though, you know, you guys can't like really say anything to me, but it should be interactive. So don't hold back and give everyone your opinion. That would be great. Okay. So understanding human-centered skills. What are human-centered skills? Since almost half of the audience here is well-versed in this, I will just quickly go over it for the people who might not know that much about it yet. So in short, it's skills that focus on the human element, like empathy, creativity, and communication. And human-centered skills, often referred to as soft skills or interpersonal skills, they're a critical set of competencies that focus on effective interaction, collaboration, and empathy in different contexts. So unlike the technical skills or the hard skills, which are very specific to a certain task or to a certain job, the human-centered skills are universally applicable, and they're essential for creating a positive and productive environment, not only like in professional settings, but also in social settings and in your personal life, of course. So this is a question to everyone. Have you guys ever really worried about like your soft skills, especially in the work context, or have you mostly focused on your hard skills and honing your hard skills? And it's like food for thought, maybe, but do you think we should give soft skills a new name? And do you think we should, like, because it's labeled as a soft skill, it's maybe regarded less important, but I think over the course of the webinar, you will see that it's gaining more and more importance, and yeah, maybe soft skills needs a rebranding, but yeah, so I'm excited to get your point of view in this and see your questions or opinions. Yeah, I see Michelle says, yeah, human skill, definitely agree. Okay, so let's look at what we call the core components of human-centered skills. So most of you know, of course, communication. So what are the components of communication? You have the verbal communication, so the ability to convey ideas and information clearly and effectively through spoken words. Then you have nonverbal communication, so understanding and using body language, facial expressions, and gestures to communicate. So, for example, right now, it's of course impossible for me to read the room because I cannot see you guys. Yeah, usually when you give a presentation, you can kind of see the reaction of people, or, you know, if they have their arms crossed, if they're leaning back, or if they're open, and then you can adapt and adjust maybe how you talk to people or how you give the presentation. So, of course, nowadays it's trickier with video calls or when you just talk to someone on the phone. But one thing I can say about nonverbal communication is that when people start mirroring you, like your body language or mirroring your tone, then that means that the person is more agreeable and like more friendly towards you. So if you want to read more, I found the book, which is a really old book now, by Joe Navarro, really helpful. So yeah, just Google it and maybe get it, I don't know, on Amazon, or I think every bookstore even has that book, even though it's so old, but it has really great insights, and it can really help you also with negotiations and also in your daily life. Then, of course, we have written communication, so crafting clear, concise, and effective written messages. And last but not least, active listening, so really concentrating on what the person is saying and understanding, responding, or, you know, asking questions. So the next component is emotional intelligence. So I will highlight this after going over all the core components, so we can dive deeper, since now I know that there are a lot of people in this webinar who are who know a lot more about soft skills than the average person, I guess. So yeah, just to go quickly over the EQ points. So this would be self-awareness, meaning recognizing and understanding your own emotions and how they affect your thoughts and behavior. Self-regulations, managing your emotions in healthy ways and controlling impulsive feelings and behaviors. Empathy, so when you understand and share the feelings of others and foster a sense of connection and compassion. And of course, social skills, so navigating social complexities. The third core competency I want to highlight is collaboration and teamwork, which is also very important now in the age of AI. So cooperation, conflict resolution, dependability, and adaptability. So being open to new ideas and changes and adjusting effectively to different roles and situations. And that brings me to problem solving, which is really, really important. Of course, also, you know, thinking about the critical thinking with all the fake news out there. So analyzing and evaluating information and arguments in a more disciplined way, I would say. It's especially important nowadays. And I've read that in some schools in the Nordic countries, or even already in kindergarten. I don't know, maybe one of you already read this article or came across it, because I forgot which country it was, but they're starting as early as kindergarten to teach their kids about media literacy. And of course, in kindergarten, it's more playful, and then they get to the, you know, more important topics in high school. But they start in kindergarten to teach these kids more critical thinking skills, so that when they get older and in high school, they know, okay, this video is fake, or this is fake news, this is real, and so on. So I think that type of digital literacy training is extremely important. And in my opinion, it's, you know, they should roll it out in every country and start to teach like the little kids already. Because it's not going to get better, of course, with the fake news. So I don't know, maybe you guys also have an opinion about this. If you do, it would be great if, you know, you can drop it in the chat and we can discuss it. But yeah, another sub point basically of problem solving is creativity. So thinking outside the box and generating innovative solutions, because as you know, AI is merely using all the data it's been fed with. So all the stuff it's been fed with, it's already been there. Yeah, thank you so much, Rebecca. It was Finland. Yeah, perfect. Thank you. So super interesting. Maybe you guys want to read about it. Rebecca also posted the link, which is great. Yeah, so creativity, basically you still need to think as a human to come up with something really new and really creative, because AI is just recycling what's been there, and maybe, you know, it's recycling it in new ways, but it's not really new so far. So that's why we still need humans to come up with the really new and exciting stuff. And last but not least, of course, decision making. These like really hard decisions, you know, where you have to take like or make well-considered choices based on analysis and also judgment. A computer cannot do this yet, I would say. So for example, when you hire someone and you want to look at the team dynamics and not just, you know, check someone's CV, of course, AI can do that and look at the skills and so on. But if you want to see if the person is really a good match for the team and how they work together and so on, you still have to make these choices as a human and like look at the person and interview the person and so on, and then make your decision based on that. You cannot just do it by looking at a CV. But unless of course you use a questionnaire, which we will talk about later as well. So yeah, another core component is leadership. So how do you inspire others? How do you motivate others and encourage them to achieve, their goals and their best? Are you a good delegator? Does it come easy to you, or do you still need to kind of learn how to delegate? I'm pretty good at it, but I know a lot of people where it's extremely hard for them to delegate certain tasks. But yeah, so it's also something you can definitely learn. Accountability, so taking responsibility for your actions and decisions, and setting a clear direction and purpose for your team and organization through communicating your vision is also part of, being a good leader. And the last core component I would like to highlight is cultural competence. So inclusivity, cultural awareness, and having kind of like a global mindset. So being open to and understanding like global diversity and different perspectives is what I think is really important. So maybe you guys can just quickly reflect for yourselves and think about all these components I just discussed, and maybe you already know, where you excel, or, what can you do extremely good, where you still extremely bad. And what's also really interesting, I think, is, you craft your list and maybe you have like, I'm good at this, I'm bad at this. And then you ask a good friend or your work friend and ask them to verify it and maybe play it back to you, because it's so interesting how you see yourself and the awareness of yourself, but then how others see it. So you might be very surprised how others will see your soft skills and where you excel and where you're maybe, where you still need some more learning and education and development. So that's something I want to talk about now, like different tests you can take. But also I would like to highlight or take a closer look at emotional intelligence. So especially Daniel Goleman's work on emotional intelligence. Does anyone know his research already, or are you not familiar with it? So it's fairly old as well. So it's from the 90s, but it's very relevant, maybe now more than ever. And all the current researchers researching this topic also reference him still. So I think that especially these 4 pillars, we will talk about that in a second, are super interesting when you also reflect on your own emotional intelligence. And I also want you to always remember that emotional intelligence is something that you can learn, and you can also use AI to help you hone these skills. So yeah, let's quickly talk about one of the tests you can take to assess your level of EQ. It's the Emotional and Social Competency Inventory. Has anyone here taken this? If so, please write yes or maybe no in the chat so we can see. It was developed by Goleman and some other researchers, and it builds on Goleman's model for emotional intelligence. Okay, great. I see one person has already taken it. Did you take it like for yourself, or was it within the company? Because I think this should be rolled out in like every company to take a test like that to see the level of EQ in the teams and also hone these skills. So the 4 key pillars are self-awareness, social awareness, self-management, and relationship management. And like I said earlier, the personality test is, of course, most effective when the data is not self-reported. So it's more effective when someone other than you completes the test about you. So yeah, especially when it is used to assess organizational emotional intelligence. Okay, great. So I'm just reading in the chat that someone took it for themselves and also for the team and later the organization. So yeah, I think that's really great and really helpful to do this, like I said, within teams and so on, to really hone everyone's skills. Okay, so then maybe since you guys are, I see some experts in here. Okay, yeah, I see Michelle wrote the 16 personalities. I will talk about that later when we talk about more tests. So let's dive in deeper into the 4 pillars of emotional intelligence quickly. So the experts here in this webinar don't get too bored now. So number 1, self-awareness. Self-awareness is, of course, a skill developed through repetitive reflection and curiosity about our inner experiences. And those who are more self-aware, they often ask themselves questions and, you know, they ponder the answers without assuming they know everything about themselves. Yeah, rarely do we know everything about ourselves. And I think a more self-aware person acknowledges that through continuous learning. And that was the question I asked you earlier. How self-aware do you think you are? And what do you think other people think about you? Because there have been a lot of studies that, you know, we always think we're super self-aware, but when we take all these tests, we're actually not. So yeah, it's super interesting, and the outcomes are sometimes really shocking. So number 2, self-management, and it refers to how we regulate our emotions. So knowing a lot about ourselves is the first step, of course, but then self-management asks, what are we going to do about it? So this can refer to our ability to remain calm and recover emotionally from an upsetting experience. It could be setting and achieving goals, including like evaluating and improving performance, maintaining a positive outlook despite challenges, and, you know, adapting to change and shift ideas and so on. The third pillar is social awareness. So social awareness, of course, involves recognizing and understanding others' emotional states. So if you're socially aware, you can read the room better, you can empathize, and you can predict people's behavior. It also includes the complex social dynamics within a group, such as emotional currents and patterns, power dynamics and influencers, and you know, the existing social networks. And social awareness is definitely a powerful leadership skill, but of course, also with great power comes great responsibility, and social awareness can definitely be used to manipulate groups. So number 4, or the 4th pillar, is relationship management, and that refers to the actions we take in response to our social awareness. So under relationship management are skills used to influence others positively. So for example, you know, coaching and mentoring, managing conflicts, leading or guiding groups, and collaborating with a team. And I think, you know, by integrating these emotional intelligence pillars into your daily routines, you can already enhance your professional and personal life. So, you know, you can already ensure that you stay competitive and you stay relevant, even though AI will be able to do a lot more things in the future, like, you know, analyzing data and so on. Okay, are there any questions so far? Let me quickly check. Okay, I see Rebecca already answered this one with the book. Okay, perfect. So if you have any questions or comments or, I don't know, opinions about anything we discussed so far, please just write it in the chat. It's great to hear everyone's point of view and or questions. So let's quickly talk about why human skills matter in an AI-driven world. So I think in an AI-driven world, human-centered skills are essential for several reasons. And maybe if you guys have anything you want to add, please just drop it in the chat. So I think it's important also to, complement the technology. So while AI excels, of course, at processing data, automating tasks, and so on, it really lacks the human touch needed for empathy, creativity, and emotional intelligence. So these skills ensure that the technology serves the human needs effectively. So, for example, in healthcare, of course, AI can assist with diagnostics, but empathy and emotional intelligence are crucial for patient care and patient support. Or for customer service, AI can really handle the routine queries, but in the end, you still have to talk to a human agent with stronger communication skills to resolve these complex issues and to really build a customer relationship. Or I don't know, maybe you've talked to a bot who could, solve complex issues for you, but I've always had to talk to a representative when it was a bit more difficult. Or, an example for leadership would be that AI can provide data-driven insights, but you still need the leaders for critical thinking and adaptability who can make these certain strategic decisions and also who can, inspire their teams. And I read a study by McKinsey. It's a couple of years old now, I think from 2018, which found that the demand for social and emotional skills will increase by at least 26% in the US by the year 2030. So I think, if you start honing your skills now, your human skills, or how you want to call them, I think you will really get a head start, or, really it will make you stand out in the teams or being a leader and so on. Let's dive into the practical strategies, or give you some tools to develop these skills. Thank you so much, Rebecca, for sharing the link. You're so fast pulling up these links. It's like, how are you doing this?
It's me, it's not AI. It really is me.
And Eve, I totally agree with what you said, that, humans are definitely making better informed decisions now. Of course, we can always use AI to get more information and so on, but then the decision, of course, is better made by a human. Okay. Yeah, Rebecca is so fast. You're beating AI. So this is great. Okay, so let's quickly look at some tools or practical strategies so you guys can do this at home. Yeah, let's start maybe with empathy. So there's a super simple technique, and you can start it right away, and it's basically an active listening exercise. So practice listening without interrupting and reflecting on what the other person is saying. So for me, it's also really hard because especially when someone talks a bit slower, I tend to, interrupt or, I don't know, finish a sentence or whatever. But I think, yeah, I also sometimes have to take a step back and think, okay, now I will listen and let the person finish. And, or for example, in team meetings, take time to really understand your colleagues' perspectives and validate what they said or their feelings about it. For creativity, you can do more brainstorming sessions. I know people either love it or hate it, but I think, to start some meetings with your team and encourage free thinking and sharing of unconventional ideas. There's no right or wrong. It really helps kicking something off. And that's why it's good sometimes to really set aside time slots for creative activities. And I don't know, you can do something like just free writing or drawing if you're into that. I'm really bad at it, so I would pick the free writing. This is really good to stimulate more innovative thinking. So I don't know, maybe you're already journaling. That's also really good. And just, write whatever comes to mind. Then the next one, I'm just reading Kenza's note. And that's a great point she's making. How can you manage a classroom and deliver great lessons if you don't have soft skills? So yeah, that's a great example of really, using your soft skills and honing your soft skills to deliver the lessons. And I fully agree. Of course, kids can get all the information now and search stuff really fast with AI. But in the end, how does it come across, how do they remember things? And it's exactly by integrating these things, even like the technique we just discussed now, maybe drawing problems or, free writing, which could really benefit them. And another thing, like another tool or exercise you could do to hone your emotional intelligence is if you do mindfulness meditation. And I think mindfulness meditation really helps you also increase self-awareness and emotional regulation. And it can be as short as 5 minutes. So, you can incorporate really short mindfulness sessions into your daily routine to manage stress and improve focus. And it's super easy, easily accessible. There are so many apps and whatever where you can download meditations and 5 minutes, 10 minutes and so on. And you can start it in the morning, maybe after you hit snooze or whatever, you just pop in your headphones and do this for 5 minutes. Or I always do it when I go to bed. I have my 20-minute soothing meditation. So it also really helps, and it also helps for a really deep sleep. So I think meditation is absolutely great. And I see in the chat you guys are agreeing. Maybe if you guys also want to write your experience with that, so we can all see if you have anything else to add, just let us know. For communication, what you guys can start trying or doing is role playing. I think, I haven't done this since university, but it's definitely helpful to practice different communication scenarios to enhance clarity and effectiveness. And maybe that's also something you can encourage in your team, or maybe you just do this with a friend when you have something coming up that's maybe a bit tricky, where okay, your emotional or your human-centered skills are needed. Or you can role play customer interactions depending on where you're working. and just try that with a colleague and take some case studies. What you could do to, gain more work on your adaptability skills. I think continuous learning is always great. So always stay updated with industry trends and be open to new experiences. So, attend webinars like this one. I'm sure everyone has some kind of takeaway, even though, I see some coaches in here, or Catherine, thank you so much for also sharing your experience and the link you just posted. So I think always learning new skills, attending workshops, webinars, doing online courses and so on. That's always a great way to never stop learning and to hone your adaptability skill. And the last one I want to highlight now, of course, being a consultant, is critical thinking. So you can use the SWOT analysis for the ones here who might not be familiar with the term. So basically regularly analyze your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats related to, maybe your projects. So for example, you use this critical thinking framework to evaluate business strategies and with that make informed decisions. And I know all the consultants here, we all know this tool, and I know it's super basic, but I still use it because I think it's just very efficient. And if you also want to read more, there is Carol Dweck's research on growth mindset, and it emphasizes the importance of continuous learning and adaptability. I will put in the name in the chat so you guys can just, if you want to do some more, research or whatever, you can just research her. She's definitely interesting. Okay, so we talked about some tools and practical exercises. I think, what time is it? Okay, maybe I will skip this and let's also talk, or, maybe a quick summary for honing these human-centered skills. So we already said self-reflection and assessments. So regularly evaluate your interpersonal interactions and identify the areas of improvement. And with this, seek feedback from peers, mentors, friends, and so on through these self-assessment tools. Training and education, of course. So like we just said, workshops, courses, seminars focused on certain skills, and reading books and more literature about human-centered skills to gain new perspectives and techniques. Then the practice and applications, what I summarized earlier. So applying it in everyday interactions, so both professionally and personally, and taking on roles or projects that require these skills. So maybe, actively seek it out. That's always a good way. And especially if you feel resistance to something or you don't want to do it, that means you should definitely do it and get out of your comfort zone. And another great way, of course, is mentorship and coaching. So I have a few clients I'm coaching in that area. So, seek guidance from mentors or coaches who can help you with this. And also, just observe and learn from other people you think do it really well, like role models who demonstrate really strong interpersonal competencies. And the last, like we said, is mindfulness and emotional regulation. So really practice these mindfulness techniques to improve self-awareness and emotional regulations, and, start journaling and meditating. So in very short, set goals. So define specific goals for each skills, maybe break it down how you want to develop it, and create a plan. So develop a plan with actionable steps to achieve your goals, and then start tracking the progress and regularly monitor the progress to make adjustments as needed. And yeah, in the end, what I also always tell my team, don't forget to celebrate successes. So acknowledge and celebrate achievements, like big or small, and just stay motivated. And yeah, so what I think is great, if you want to read more here, is Angela Duckworth's work on grit, which highlights the importance of perseverance and passion in achieving long-term goals. So yeah, like that specific reference is from 2016. Wait, should I write it in the chat, or did you guys get that? If anyone needs the name again, just let me know. And okay, now let's also, the last minutes, let's use them before we maybe do a quick Q&A, but let's use the last minutes to talk about how AI can help you with this. So how can AI help you hone your emotional intelligence or your human skills? Yeah, let's look at some strategies. Okay, sorry, I will write it. Duckworth. That's the last name. Duckworth, Angela. Sorry. Okay. So for the self-assessment tools, there are platforms like the Myers-Briggs type indicator assessments or the EQI 2.0. And some other online EQ tests, which are AI-powered self-assessment tools. So this is one way, you know, where you can start. And then you have interactive AI coaches. To be honest, I've tried this and or I've watched a demo. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of it, but you know, everyone's different. So try it out and see how you like it. It simulates real life interactions, and it gives you like real-time feedback on your emotional responses and your communication skills. So the tools are there to help you practice empathy or active listening and other EQ related skills. So for example, wait, what's one? But I think it's called CoachBot, you know, for interactive AI coaches. And there are some others. You can just type it in and, you know, a list will pop up, and then you can see and maybe research it and see if you like any of those AI coaches. You can also use sentiment analysis. I've tried this, and I think it's a hit or miss, because sometimes it doesn't look at the big picture and the context. So for me, it's like 50-50, but it's basically an AI tool that analyzes the sentiment in written or spoken communication. So it can help you understand how your words might be perceived by others, and then adjust your communication style accordingly. But yeah, like I said, I've tried it for yeah, some bigger like project where I had lots of documents and communications and so on, and it gave me weird answers sometimes. But maybe if you break it down and it's not that complex and you just have maybe one email, it works better. Then you can also train with VR experiences. I've personally never tried this, so if anyone has tried this here, please let us know. I'm very curious. So it's an AI-driven VR experience which can immerse you in scenarios where you need to navigate like complex emotional situations. And yeah, there are some like softwares or, you know, some tools. I think one is Striver or SimLab. I don't know. Has anyone here tried this? Because it sounds cool, but I don't know. And yeah, we also talked about journaling. So there's AI-powered journaling. Yeah, I don't know, maybe you guys use this, maybe not. There are so many AI journaling apps out there now, which can also identify emotional patterns and provide insights into your emotional health. If anyone here has a good, AI-powered journaling app, please let us know. I also haven't used it yet. Then learning platforms, if you guys want to learn more, we all know Udemy, where you have courses for €1. But, it can be really effective, especially if you don't have that much knowledge about a certain topic yet, or you have Coursera. So all of these platforms are AI-based learning platforms, which offer courses and training programs specifically designed to improve EQ. So not all of the courses, of course, but you just have to pick and choose the ones that are, designed to improve your EQ. And yeah, I think that's a great way to stay up to date and to hone your skills. And then, of course, we have voice analysis, which I already talked about earlier, so no need to go over this again now. And, well, we discussed the chatbots, but or the coaches, but you also have AI chatbots, of course, if you just want to practice conversations or conflict resolution. So if any one of you has tried any of what I've just talked about, it would be really cool if you could let everyone else here in this webinar know if you liked it or not, if it was successful for you or not. So maybe, I don't see any questions here now and under the questions tab, but please let me know if you have any questions, or maybe if you want to share your experiences and strategies, or your preferred methods, of honing your emotional intelligence, or just your human-centered skills. Or maybe you can quickly say if we should rename soft skills. I think that's also interesting. But yeah, other than that, let's see if more questions come in. Thank you so much for joining the webinar today. And yeah, I hope you found this informative. And I know there were people in this webinar who were experts and some people who were just starting off, basically. So I hope there was something in there for everyone on all different levels. And always remember, developing these skills is a continuous journey, and everyone can learn it, and it will definitely help you. You're not going to regret this. So if you have any further questions or would like to continue the discussion or book a session with me, just feel free to reach out. You can also connect on LinkedIn, Patrizia Ecker, or on LinkedIn, it's Patrizia Ariane Ecker, or follow me on Instagram. It's, I can just drop it in the chat. So this is my handle, consulted by Patrizia. And yeah, I'm also happy to answer your questions and talk more. Okay.
Thank you so much, Patrizia. Yeah, it's really, really interesting. I really, really enjoyed it as well.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Okay, I think these are just, okay. Yeah, thanks, guys. Great feedback. Thank you very much. And yeah, if there's anything else, please just reach out directly. Okay, I don't know, Rebecca, do you think we will get any questions? I don't think so.
We can wait maybe another minute or so, or 30 seconds, and we just have a few more minutes before we're at the end of our time here today anyways. But super insightful. I think, I think maybe it's worth renaming soft skills. For me, when I think of the term soft skills, it implies,
right?
At least it has a bit of a connotation of them being less important than other skills, but they're just so critical.
Exactly.
What is the weather like?
I 100% agree. And that's why I always refer to, like, I always say human-centered skills, but I also like to make it short, like what was suggested in the chat, human skills. That's also really great. But it definitely needs relabeling, because I think that's why soft skills were never really, never really discussed. Also, when you hire people or when you look at team dynamics and so on, it really always, or almost always, only focuses on the hard skills or functional skills.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, thanks. Michelle says human-centered sounds more professional. And of course it does. It's also more words. But yeah, of course, sometimes when you can't have a long word count, we can make it short.
Yeah.
And say human skills. Yeah.
Great.
Okay.
Then I think that takes us to the end of the session today. Thank you again so much, Patrizia, for your time. Thank you everyone else for joining from all over the world. It looks like we had people joining from. Always nice to see. And we'll be back with more webinars and content for you soon. Enjoy your day wherever you are.
Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much, Rebecca.
Bye-bye.
Bye.